What's up, gamers? Coach Brandon here. Today we're going to talk about how you can use the information in the minimap and objective timers to win more games. This is an important lesson because a lot of people do not know how to set up around objectives or use information that is provided to them to punish their enemies. Before we get into it, remember to stay up to date on all of our content here at Game Gym, and keep a lookout in our Discord for new events and fun activities going on. Okay, let's dive into it. To warm up, you want to go into the practice tool and just play in a lane or clear the jungle as normal. However, if you are in lane, you want to take a glance at your minimap after every minion kill, and in the jungle, you want to take a look at your minimap every time your abilities are on cooldown when fighting your camps. Looking at your minimap constantly is a very important habit to get into because in League, information is king. You want to make sure that your info is constantly updated, which means checking your minimap every few seconds at a minimum. Most pro players check their minimap every 2 to 3 seconds, so we must assume that it is a key factor in winning games. In the practice tool, you want to keep practicing this until you finish a full clear in the jungle or until you finish the cannon wave in lane. Have you ever watched a pro stream? Well, if you have, you will notice that they are constantly clicking around and looking at their teammates. There's a reason for this, and it isn't just because they like watching their team play or like to look at their skins. Pros are constantly checking on their teammates so that they make sure to keep their information as updated as possible. Unlike other games, League has no voice comms, so collecting information is all on you. Clicking around to see your teammates and what they are up to is extremely important, so that you know where all the enemies are located on the map, and you can look for key cooldowns that they used for you to punish if you are looking to gank or roam. The important reason for this is because you cannot rely on your teammates to tell you the information that you need, so you need to make sure that you are effectively collecting it yourself. Go into a bot game or the rotation game mode, and every few seconds, try and see what your teammates are up to by either clicking on them on the minimap or using your F keybinds that will move your camera to a teammate. Now that we have covered information gathering, let's talk about how to use the minimap. The minimap is an extremely important info tool because it can show you exactly where the enemies are, and it'll tell you if the enemies are missing. Keeping track of missing enemies is important because you should always expect them to be making a play if they are missing. Keeping track of all the enemies may seem tiring, but over time it will become natural and is very worthwhile practicing adjusting your playstyle to what information you are given on your minimap. For example, if you see the enemy mid laner is missing, every person on the map should play a little more cautious of how aggressive they are playing because the enemy mid laner could be anywhere on the map. There's also the opposite situation that you can gather from the minimap, as you see your mid laner roaming and the enemy mid laner is still in lane. If you see this situation pop up, you should look to make an aggressive play with your teammate so that you can get value out of the time that they are taking to roam out of their lane. In a bot game or rotation game mode, if you see an enemy laner missing, look to play a more passive role in your lane. But if you see your teammate coming towards your lane, look to ping them to make a play. Where information gathering and minimap reading becomes extremely important is for objective fights. Objectives are the main goal of League that get you to the ultimate goal of destroying the enemy nexus. Fighting for objectives is the main way to win games, and so you should make sure that you are always preparing for them properly. You almost always want to set up for an objective with your team about a minute before it spawns. There are exceptions to this, of course, but if you know your team wants to fight for the next objective, you want to make sure you are prepared. Doing this means the standard clearing the setting down vision, but it also means that you can use the minimap and watching your teammates to gather intel that can be vital to the objective fight. For example, if you have a top laner who is splitting, you don't see any enemies matching them, maybe you look to stall out the objective fight by not fully committing to the fight and just making sure that they cannot take the objective for free, and just let your teammates split push and take their base. The point is, you can use the minimap to judge what the best play is for your team when it comes to objectives, and you have to practice making these decisions, because nobody's going to make it for you. To practice this, go into an unrated match, and when an objective is spawning, when the timer gets to 1 minute, ping the objective and see how your team reacts to it. Do they keep pushing lanes? Do they walk with you to fight the objective? Use the lessons in the video to help you make a plan with the information you are given. Again, I'm Coach Brandon, and today we went over how to gather information and use the minimap to help you win more games. Please feel free to leave a comment on anything I can improve or for any future content you would like to see from our team. Always remember to stay hungry, stay humble, and I'll see you next time.